This is a new day to try to get right. This is a new day to get on track. Yeah, that's life in football. This is a new day to live your life. This is a new day to try to get right. This is a new day to get on track. Yeah, that's life in football. It's life in football. We are life in football.
You are now listening to the Life in Football podcast. Check out the new website, lifeinfootball.com. Once again, the website is lifeinfootball.com. Thanks for listening.
Welcome to the Life in Football podcast, baby. I'm your host, Mike Feed.
And this your co-host, Colin Moore. You know we loving life and enjoying football.
We got a big time commentator you always see on the TV screen during the football season, but also during other times as well. She goes by the name of Tiffany Greene with the E on the end. And she's a top-notch ESPN commentator. And she don't just do football. She does basketball, softball, and volleyball. She's a wife to Aaron, a mother to Bryson, who you hear in the background. This is his first interview as well. And she's a fourth generation FAMU Rattler. She's a member of the AKAs, the National Association of Black Journalists, a 2003 graduate of FAMU. And did you know that she went to FAMU on a bowling scholarship? That's amazing, because she's doing a lot in the football world right now, and she's a big-time journalist, hands down. She did an internship at the local WCTV when she was at FAMU in Tallahassee, and she's won a big-time award that FAMU gave her from the School of Journalism, Graphic and Communication. She won the Thelma Thurston Gorham Distinguished Alumnus Award. And she was the first ever African-American female college football play-by-play announcer at a major network for ESPN. Before joining ESPN, she was a play-by-play announcer and sports reporter for Bright House Sports Network, and she began her career as an on-air analyst in Savannah, Georgia. She's represented straight out of Tampa, Florida. She went to high school at Hillsborough High School. But without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and let Simo bring her on.
How you doing, Miss Green?
Oh, I'm wonderful, and my wait a minute, all of this girl.
Hey, you living a good life.
Job. That's my most important job.
The best one to have. The best
one to have. All right, fellas. I don't know what just ticked him off. There we go. See, this is what real life sounds like. It looks like it. It sounds like it. Thank you, gentlemen, for having me on. That wonderful introduction. And we added to the fold. So this is Aaron. This is little Aaron right here, 8 months old today, and he is wanting his presence
known,
he felt and heard and known. That's right.
Exactly. So since we right in this family mix, and me and Michael, well, I've been married 10 years. Michael be married 10 years in December, and we have kids as well. I have 2 kids. He has 3 kids. So how is the juggling the family life with the traveling? And you're traveling big time, so it ain't like you traveling to a little high school game. You big time. So how is that?
Yeah, it is definitely a balance, and I could not do it without the village, right? Your support, and that makes the world of difference. Just got back from Stillwater, Oklahoma, doing softball. College World Series, and I was gone from Thursday, I want to say, till Monday, so Memorial Day, and that was just, it's just a pull. Right? It's a tear. It's tough being away from your kids because there's this mommy guilt that you kind of feel. You want to be there and you do your job and do it to the best of your ability. But it's kind of something that we've grown accustomed to now. So, 3 or 4 days out of the week, especially during football season, I'll be on the road, and I come back home, and I'm all in when I'm there. And when I'm away, I'm all in preparing for my games.
So, yes, how did you figure it out that you actually wanted to be a commentator? Like, that was the life that you wanted to have, being on ESPN and making the calls play-by-play like that on the college games and other sports as well, per se?
How did I get into this? Well, this is something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to be a sportscaster. So I chose the local route, which is the pay your dues and local television kind of route, and came up through the ranks, started as a part-time production assistant, moved on as a one-man band. Basically, I shoot, write, and edit, or did that for a period of time. And then I started working with Bright House Sports Network, which was a 24-hour sports network in the region of like Tampa and Orlando. And since we had 24 hours to fill, we carried games, high school games, and I expanded my horizons from just, kind of the reporter, filling anchor role to a play-by-play announcer. And something I, flirted with while at FAMU, because I'd done it for the radio station, but you don't get those opportunities to come across your desk very often. And when you do, you take advantage of it if that's, what your interest is. And I felt like that was a really unique skill set. And there were not a lot of voices that looked like or sounded like me. And I dove right into it. And here I am about, 15 years later, from my journey starting in local television to now network television, and moving from one-man band to play-by-play commentator.
Now, she's a part of history. Y'all heard me say earlier she was the first African American female college football play-by-play announcer. But what you may not know, with that fourth generation of Rattlers that she's a part of, her dad has been amazing. He
Oh,
has made history as well. And I got to give a shout out to him to IsYourBoy.com, because he was the first African American to be a reporter down there in the Tampa area. So
that's right.
I gotta hear you talk a little bit about that.
What you know about IsYourBoy.com? Oh, that's amazing. Y'all have done some fantastic research. I appreciate it. My father, Dale Greene, has been one of my heroes, and I get to interface and see him and hug on him and love on him every day. He's been great because he was such an integral part of what I did. I used to look at pictures of him, with the big afro, carrying the camera. That was when they were using film back at that time. And I would hear stories just while I was growing up. Oh, Dale Greene, that's your father. And he just made such a mark and an impact being here, and what it meant for him to be representing African Americans, Black men, FAMUans, HBCU grads, in a space that was uncommon and unfamiliar at the time, speaks volumes just to I think, the legacy that he's helped to create and leave behind for me. And so growing up, he would tell me two things. You're only as good as your last story, and it's never enough. No matter what you do, it's never enough. You could have the lead story. You go live when I was in local television. That's great. But what have you done for me lately? That means tomorrow, what are you going to do? That everyone has a short-term memory. So constantly just putting a fire under me, creating that extra gear of drive. He has just been one of my greatest role models, one of my best friends, and real happy that I'm his fruit.
Now, what about some more of you growing up? Like who played because from what I can see and hear, I've seen greatness from you on TV. I love
Thank
to
you.
see you smile. You always respectable. Even just giving us this interview is very courteous of you, and
Thank you.
it speaks volumes. And I just want to know a little bit more about you growing up and who helped you to become the person that you are today.
Yeah. So Dale was one half of it, and the other half was my mom, Patsy Greene. So Dale and Patsy, to me, are my greatest examples of what greatness, success, kindness, respectfulness, integrity. It started with them, And they also came from a strong foundation. So my grandmothers, Maude Greene and Betty Norman, my grandfathers, Arnett Greene and Emmanuel Norman, they too were instrumental in me being here, whether it was hands-on, whether it was just creating a standard within our family to aspire to be like them. You wanted to be like them. You enjoyed their love, their caring, their impact, teaching me so many lessons along the way. So that's the family base, right? And, my sister and I were 6 years apart, Tammy. We're very different, but I think that's what is so unique about who we are as people. We're different, but we always find common ground and commonality. And I think that carries over into helping you understand and work with people and talk to people who are not just like you. So they were all a part of the mix growing up. And then I was also looking to people on the outside, in addition to my family, of like your Pam Olivers, your Robin Roberts. Those were women who I saw growing up, and I said, oh, I want to be like them. And they were actually there in the space where I would, now operate, but it wasn't many of them. And they carried themselves with grace and class and dignity and an authenticity and genuineness that you just loved. And they were pretty badass too, excuse my language, because they were in a place where they were in a male-dominated field. They had a double minority, if you will, with being a Black woman. And you were carrying a whole group of people with you. I'm sure their backs are tired and their shoulders were weighted down, because had it not been for, some women like them, I don't know if I would be where I am today. But the path was paved for me as trailblazers to help do it.
Now, if y'all don't know, Pam Oliver is also a graduate of FAMU.
Hey,
And my first time,
yes.
right. So this show you the prestige of not just, being a female in sports, but the importance of being a part of an HBCU. And my first time I heard of a National Association of Black Journalists as well was from Jamel here. I heard her talking about it. And this shows growth, and this shows that people also want to be a part of the sports world and involved in the game of football, not just on the men's side, but female side too. So just speak on the importance of being a part of the culture, just how you were kind of saying with Pam Oliver, family of a former FAMU Rattler, as well as yourself, and just being in this group of excellence, I would say.
Thank you. Well, I'll tell you this. NABJ career, right? Without them, without the professional development, without the relationships you build within it, the conferences, you better here. So I'm not here because I'm thinking to myself, I started my relationship with ESPN junior or senior in college. I went to a job fair, met a gentleman by the name of Fred Brown, who's no longer with us. He was on the production side, and it was that relationship that I was able to establish and build from there, right? And so NABJ helped me to face with executives and suits with companies that I probably would not have access to, if I'm honest. I mean, I would be working a longer time in my career, perhaps, before I would get a chance to say hey to them or email them or send them a text message or give them a call. So NABJ did that for me. And they also helped me to cultivate my mentors within the business. So Stan Verrett and Jay Harris and David Aldridge, Jamel Hill, they're all fantastic people who have helped to shape, mold, encourage me along the way. And you need that, right? You need that supportive village. And we're rooting for each other. We're wanting to see each other succeed.
Now,
It does that. Your FAMU league, my FAMU league, it does that. I'm sorry, I was
I
going to
always
go on
wonder
my
how they
soapbox.
say that too. I done seen that on some shirts.
I didn't
Oh, go ahead.
mean to go off on my soapbox, but I mean, I think this is the same thing when I go around the country for work in FAMU, whether it's a t-shirt or a hat or a hoodie, whatever it is. And undoubtedly, I'm running into someone else who went to FAMU, who had that experience that I had, that makes you so connected to it.
I hear you talking about the Rattlers, and we gonna continue that conversation because you are a fourth generation Rattler. The current head. Let me
Mm-hmm.
give you a little background on myself as well. I'm actually from Quincy, Florida. So Coach Willie Simmons, to
Okay.
me, he was like a king when I was in I was in middle school, and I was in the eighth grade getting ready to go to high school, and it was his junior and senior year. He was just one of the best quarterbacks I done seen in person. Like, he was amazing, even when he went to Clemson. FAMU as the head coach, and his wife is also a fourth generation Rattler as well.
Uh-huh.
So she's a fourth generation Rattler like you. And so just growing up around here, I remember as a young kid and Billy Joe and Joe Bullock, man, to me it was like you had a culture, man. It was just
Mm-hmm.
amazing as a kid, because back then Florida State football games would be sold out and FAMU football games would be sold out as well. So if you could just speak on, the your take on the program now and the job that Coach Simmons is doing.
I was a part of that time when Billy Joe was there, in that Billy Joe era, and that Gulf Coast offense, Quinn Gray, the Rack Boys, all of that. And it was an exciting time. I mean, I remember we were like one game away from playing in our second, national championship game. We fell to Youngstown State, but he reinstituted those winning ways, and we saw just what he did and what he's done in just a short time. You know, Shotgun has special, and he's had some special players along the way, and I can't wait until we debut as we rap. Not to the ESPN sportscaster, because it is it's time, and he's brought that back into the forefront, and we're here now, and I think fun days are ahead within the SWAC for sure with FAMU football.
And I want to thank you again, Miss Tiffany Greene, for coming on. I got to show her love. She's a staple in the community, especially of FAMU. She's on another level. She's doing great things. She's making strides for others to see and prosper. To me, she is just like a Pam Oliver, James Humphrey president, Coach Simmons, Joe Bullock. Her name speaks for itself. Tiffany Greene, ESPN. She puts on a marvelous show every time she get on the stage on ESPN. She puts on, and I gotta show love because this is prestige at its finest, and she's showing a great representation for the younger audience out there. And this shows all players, and not just about playing your sport, but you can still be a part of athletics once you graduate. And I just want to say thank you again to Miss Tiffany Greene, and I'm gonna leave y'all how I always leave y'all. Keep your head up and not down, or else you'll fall to the ground. It's the Life in Football podcast. Catch you next time.
You are now listening to the Life in Football podcast. Check out the new website, lifeinfootball.com. Once again, the website is lifeinfootball.com. Thanks for listening.
This is a new day to live your life. This is a new day to try to get right. This is a new day to get on track. Yeah, that's life in football. This is a new day to live your life. This is a new day to try to get right. This is a new day to get on track. Yeah, that's life in football. It's life in football. We are life in football.